So you're going.
Hi, guys. Melinda Fargus here, weekly travel updates, and this is part 2. I hope that we have some people join us so that I can continue to share with you what the Gulf Stream is really doing to our weather. It is splitting in two, according to the professionals. If you type in to a Google search, Gulf Stream changing or Gulf Stream splitting in two, you'll find several YouTubes that give a lot more detail than I'm going to share with you tonight. But I just found it so interesting. I wanted to share it with you. If you missed us for part 1, I'll run through what is the Gulf Stream doing. In January, it caused 2 feet of rain in Hawaii, which led to the worst flooding that they have seen in decades. The Gulf Stream is responsible for the UK getting pounded. A system was trapped over the UK again in our winter, and it dumped tons of precipitation, more than what they are ready at, what they're prepared for, what they're used to. Well, I also mentioned tonight that Turks and Caicos has moved to a level 2. And then here's where we're going to talk about more extreme weather. We're jumping into part 2 of weekly travel updates. I think that to keep a good viewership, I'm going to keep weekly travel updates to 12 to 15, 17 minutes. And if I have more information, I'm going to do a part 2 and only make it available on YouTube. I hope that you will like us and follow us and share it if you find it helpful for you. Global news is all over the place about global warming. And part of the reason that we're seeing this is as a result, well, let me back up. As a result of what scientists are saying global warming has caused, the rapid deterioration of glaciers, like in the Alps. I was saying last week that if that's been on your bucket list, if seeing the Swiss Alps are on your bucket list, do it sooner than later, because the mountain snow that covers the glaciers, and when you take the very scenic railroad in Switzerland, travelers are used to seeing snow. You're going up into the clouds. But that snow and those glaciers have melted more in recent months so rapidly that they've never seen deterioration like it's happening now. We're still traveling there, but we need to be aware of how the weather is affecting us when we travel. The typhoon that is now in the Pacific, let's start with what a typhoon is. A typhoon is a tropical cyclone occurring especially in the region of the Philippines and the China Sea. It's basically a cyclone originating in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. This typhoon this week put a complete halt to Royal Caribbean's sailing that was supposed to leave out of Singapore yesterday. They've canceled the entire week's sailing. Um, who wants to be in rough waters like a typhoon is going to bring? Actually, they're telling people to shelter in place. It is like what we would experience as a hurricane. This typhoon is the largest storm system in the world right now, and it is headed for Singapore. I have a feeling that they canceled the cruise and they will take the ship to sea rather than the storm coming in on the ship. That remains to be seen. So, what we see in the Atlantic and the Northeast Pacific are hurricanes. What the Northwest or Western Pacific sees are typhoons. And we talked just a few weeks ago about a huge cyclone that was about to hit Australia. Cyclones are what they call the same kind of storms in the South Pacific and the Indian Ocean. The scientists gave it 3 different names because of the way in the area that they study them. I thought that was tremendously interesting. But let's go to our lead story and talk about the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is splitting. You see this split? Our Gulf Stream starts in, well, I'm used to it going south. It starts in New England, hugs the Atlantic coastline all the way beyond Florida. And this has pulled high pressure zones down into the ocean instead of them continuing into the UK like the UK experienced this winter. It seems scary, but all models are showing that the Gulf is actually splitting. Part of it is going towards the UK for the first time ever. And part of it still is northwest to the east. I will have some charts that I'll drop a link, and I have some news links that I'll drop in the notes after this live stream. But be aware of what's going on in our world. It's kind of scary when you look at these scientific presentations to explain what's really happening and why the Gulf Stream has such an effect on our weather. What's normally been circling the globe, and when it gets to North America, it pulls energy south. That's not happening. That's not happening with the same intensity that it has. Before I run away, I'm going to share the same information that I shared in part 1 tonight, and that is our travel takeaway. Please, please, as you're traveling, check that destination weather forecast before you go. It's super important because things change rapidly. Review travel advisories before you take off across that ocean. See what you're going for. A month ago, I was talking about 7-hour lines for the ETA introductory processing they were trying to do. The new ETAs that the EU has put in place. It's very important to know, especially if you're traveling with a family, that when you get to London, there are 7-hour waits. 7-hour inline waits. Thankfully, that's not what's going on this week. They've really improved it. But it would be important to know before you left that that was a potential. Have the smart travel app on your phone. You can get it at smarttravel.gov. Keep digital copies of everything on your phone. But have those paper copy backups, because should Wi-Fi be down, don't have everything and your only copy on your phone, because that could be detrimental to your success. And travel with curiosity, confidence, and respect. Guys, there are lots of places around the world that really don't want our tourism right now. I didn't mention this on earlier tonight on either show, but Virgin Voyage was turned away from 2 countries this week, citing moral indifference. Virgin Voyage is doing a gay cruise right now. And when they got to Turkey this week, they were turned away. Turkey said that they weren't going to allow them to port. So they got to see Turkey from a distance, right off the coast. Then they get to Egypt. And even though both of these countries have previously allowed cruises that were specifically titled gay cruises, they've been allowed before. There's a European line, and both of these countries have allowed this. Virgin Voyage is really upset that their travelers who were promised this experience are being turned away, and especially citing moral indifference. Maybe that's an improvement. What's your take on that? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate your time. Thanks for sticking with me. If you jumped over to YouTube, please like this. If you found any value at all, please share it with your friends. I would greatly appreciate it. Melinda Fargas, Action Travel. I will always be the one sharing information that you can gain knowledge from, because knowledgeable travelers make a better journey. Thanks, guys. Remember, without a travel agent, you're on your own. But with Action Travel, you're never alone. See ya.